Hello, and welcome to the People's Regenerative Solutions. I'm Imani Davis, and today I'll be talking about composting, specifically municipal composting. We'll be talking about why it's important for the average citizen or resident or anybody who eats, for that matter, in a city that has municipal composting to compost, as well as what items can go into the compost bin. Unfortunately, in this episode, we won't be covering home composting. However, watch out for the next one to cover that. So without further ado, let's get composting. So when it comes to home composting, there's a lot of items that can go into the compost. For that reason, I suggest people use two different bins. One for small choppings that you use maybe on your counter when you're cooking, food waste specifically, and then a second bin for things, a bigger bin for things like paper that gets soiled, napkins, or takeout food containers that are paper. So there's many different items that can go to the compost. We'll start with our food trash. So if you look into there, you see there's all kinds of food products. There's rice, pasta, fruit, as well as some other items that might be on your kitchen counter, like tea bags, or if you use cellulose sponges, the sponge. Eggshells can go in here as well. When it comes to our large bin, things like paper containers that do not have plastic on the inside but have wax, as well as take-out food containers. Oh, this one's got some salsa on it. Another take-out bag, paper bag that has food soiled, and another paper container. This also includes things like the wrapping, the wax paper that goes around things like butter. Also, a favorite of mine is paper towels. This is something that we all use a lot of day to day to stay hygienic, and this is something that is a very good item to go in compost. Another thing I like to mention is the lint from the dryer. Especially if you usually dry your cottons and anything else that's a natural material in the dryer, this should be mostly biodegradable. Sometimes it's good to check our compost. If you live on a city street like I do, sometimes people walk by and put things that don't belong. This is recycling. Uh-oh. Look at this. This goes into compost, but the container doesn't. Living on a street like Telegraph Ave can be rough. People are going to abuse your bins. If you want to really be responsible and make sure that everything that's going to the compost is what should be in there, you can always check and resort. Stay tuned for that, because that'll be another video about sorting all of the streams. When people do put trash in your bin, it's always good to check it. It's easy to put it all into the landfill because it might be all mixed, but again, if we're doing it for the planet, it's good to go through it. So in a situation like this, when somebody puts their stuff into your bin, it's not at all bad to sort it out. So we put our handy dandy composting bin, or you can just go right into there. Open that. This is papers. This can go in compost. It's always good to dump out things. However, this, if you're able to see, says that this is commercially compostable. So actually, so wonderfully, this whole container can just go right into the compost. This is recycling. This is landfill. If you really want to be a superstar for the planet, you can open these up and scoop them out. But sometimes it's not always easy to have the capacity for that. Then this is BioWare. So that means that this is compostable. Maybe we'll get into another video about the differences and beliefs about BioWare and whether it is really compostable and if it should be. And now, because this is a paper bag, we can rip off this sticker. So this is plastic. And take off the receipt because that has BPA in it. And this whole thing can go into the compost. Companies are also getting a lot better at making compostable items. All of these cups that this person put into our compostable bin are actually compostable. So again, this little BPI symbol is going to be something you can always look for. This symbol means that this is compostable in facilities. So this symbol means that things are compostable in facilities. Wonderfully enough, the top, is also compostable. Might be hard to see. Ecotainer. Yeah. So actually, besides these plastic straws, wonderfully enough, this whole cup is compostable. So all of these can just go straight into the compost. Another thing I want to mention, doesn't come up enough. It's a little molded, but bones. Meat can go in the compost, especially municipal compost. There's different schools of thought about putting bones and meat into at-home composting and the ground composting, but I'm of the school of thought, do it. If it can be broken down, you should put it in the compost. It does take longer, but at the end of the day, if we're doing this for the planet and it can go in there, that's what we should do. So now that we've cleared out what doesn't go in there, we can get to what does. So as simple as this, you can just dump it in there. Okay, here we go. We did it. And that's how to compost at municipal composting. So now that we've learned a little bit about compost, what goes where, how to do it, we're going to speak with a local change maker, someone on the ground making this happen, educating their community on how to compost.
Hello, my name is Nia. Some people call me the Compost Queen. I love compost so much. I am a business owner. I have a business that I created in 2020. It is called Compost Grow Eat Repeat. And the purpose of why I created it is to do what I love and to share that with the people in my community. So I made the business because I learned about composting when I was young, and I was like, that's the first thing you need to do. Like if we're all lucky, we eat every day. And so there's always some sort of scraps left over. And so the first step we can do to start this lifestyle is to compost. And then with our compost, we can grow food and herbs and medicine, and then we eat what we grow. And then there's always going to be leftovers when we eat, so then we repeat the process. Compost, grow, eat, repeat. Composting is important to me because it is good for the environment. I think anything that comes from the earth can go back into the earth. So it's a natural process of, just like when the fall comes and the leaves fall down onto the ground, if you don't blow them away, then the leaves will decompose back into the earth. And compost is great because it feeds what I like to call decomposers. So those are all the different bugs, the worms and the ants and the flies, and it helps feed them, and then it adds great nutrients, and it makes wonderful soil, or fancy word, humus. And then that goes to feeding the garden, which makes more nourishment in the soil so that the plants have nourishment to pull from the soil to make delicious fruits and vegetables.
So thank you all for your viewership. Thank you for watching the People's Regenerative Solutions. This was Imani signing out.